What's up everybody? Hopefully you enjoyed that demo. I have the Bogren Subzero 100 plugin that I used in the demo loaded up right here for you. This is the sound that you get when you load it up. You know, it's pretty dry, kind of martially a little bit. If you aren't familiar with Bogren Digital or Jens Bogren, he's produced, mixed, engineered a bunch of different albums, and this plugin is really cool because it is actually based off the MLC 100. And one of the things that I think is cool about this plugin is it's not emulating like a dual rectifier or something very common like that. It's actually emulating an MLC Subzero 100, which if you know your amplifiers, this is a very high-end sought-after amplifier, and it looks to be true to the actual amplifier. It comes in with a pretty hefty price tag, and it is handcrafted in Poland. So it's pretty cool that they chose this amplifier to make with their plugin suite. And another cool and unique thing about this plugin is it features something called IRDX technology. We'll get into that more with the plugin here in a second. For this demonstration, I'm playing my Deviant Guitar's Grim War. It has an EMG 81X in the bridge and an EMG 85X in the neck. Let's get into it and dial in some tones. So we have the amp head here, and one of the great things about this plugin right away is anytime you hover over a setting, on the bottom here, it will tell you what exactly you're controlling. So if you're looking at this like M45 on-off switch and you're like, what does that do? Man, I don't know, I'm lost, I'm confused, and you don't trust your own ears, you just hover over that and it says the M45 switch reduces gain to emulate a British style circuit. And you can hear it's exactly what it's doing. But let's go over the amp here. We have 3 different channels going from cleanest to most gain. We're gonna just go to the 3rd channel here. I do like the 2nd channel with a boost as well, but I would probably more likely use this 3rd channel in most circumstances. I'm gonna set this gate back here a little bit. I'm gonna turn up the presence and the depth. Bass is fine where it's at. Give me a little bit more mids, a little bit more treble. Almost in pitch harmonic territory here. Now we have this feedback control in between low and high, and that will actually control how much negative feedback your amp is getting. It is not feedback like, I'm not getting any, but when you have your hands off the guitar and you hear feedback, that's not what it's referring to. So negative feedback is actually going to adjust how much influence the presence and depth controls have over your overall tone. So if we set this on low, let's just crank these things. You can just hear more presence and depth coming through when it's set on high. So we're gonna leave it on high. I'm gonna dial these back just a little bit. You know, I really like the way this sounds right now, as is. We also have a bright cap switch. See what that's like. We'll go on 1 first. You know, it's very subtle. Very subtle, but I like it on 2. It's just a little bit brighter. Let's go over here and boost this amp. It is not the most high gain tone in the world, even on channel 3. I mean, we could really crank the gain on the amp and get like a super high gain tone. We also have the choice in between 6L6 and EL34 tubes. These are the 6L6s. EL34s. There's like a very subtle and slight shift there between the EL34s and the 6L6s, where the EL34s, they are a little bit more mid-high focused, and the 6L6s are a little bit thicker, have a little bit more low end, so I'm gonna stick with the 6L6s. But even then, it's you know, it's not as high gain as like a 5150 at like 10 o'clock. So let's dial the gain back here and let's go. We have 2 pedals here. One is more similar to like just your standard tube screamer type overdrive with a level and drive control. And I like this one. It's cool, you know, it's something I'm very familiar with, something most people are probably familiar with. Can't go wrong with that one. But we also have this MLC Vanilla Sky overdrive pedal here. Let's just set this up. We're gonna give this guy just a little bit of drive there. Now, the white and the blue colors adjust your treble and your bass, but I find that I like just a little bit of white and leaving the blue at noon. Okay, so there's the amp, there's the overdrive pedals, and did I mention this is a full suite? Because it's a full suite. Usually with the Bogren stuff, it's like one knob, set it and go, but this one, they decided to do a full suite for it. Now in the cab section, it actually features something called IRDX technology. You can see this big knob down here. You could turn it on and off, or you can set it up to 150%. What this does is it actually simulates the air that a speaker would move in a real cabinet, and also some of the distortion that the speaker itself would produce. So, you know, it's just another step in the direction of trying to give you a more realistic tone through your amp sim. And just to mention quickly, the IRDX technology does work with your own impulse responses as well. So if you have an impulse response that you really like, but you still want to use this IRDX switch, you can do that. And of course, if you wanted to, you could just go to this mic selection here and load up your own IR, but I'm gonna play with the microphones that are built in here. I'm gonna use this 𝗬𝗡67 on the modern cab, and then over here, let's do a ribbon 121 on the vintage cab. I'm gonna reset these angles here, maybe set it up something like that. You can tell when you turn this off, it does sound a little bit more flat, like it's a little bit drier. There's less like responsiveness, I guess I would say, happening from the plugin. And then we have a parametric EQ here. I very rarely ever use these. If I do this, I'm usually gonna do it in the mix, but in this mix, I didn't even use it at all. I did very little to the guitars, actually. I just like the guitar tone that I got directly out of the plugin. Now we also have an effects section, which is really cool. You don't need to add extra effects if you like using the Bogren stuff. This one is included in here, and we just have, you know, a delay and a reverb, pretty standard. It's very nice. Let's turn this mix way up on the reverb and turn the size way up too. These effects sound really nice. They sound great, you know, and it's not like overwhelming. There's not too many of them. It's just delay, reverb, throw it on your solos, maybe make yourself a semi-ambient clean tone. You know, you're good to go on this here. Now, another cool thing that the Bogren products released recently is, you know, you have your tuner down here, pretty standard. We have our metronome here. But in addition to these tools that really should be in every guitar plugin, but you also have this record function that lets you record riffs. So you can go. You know, if you have a riff idea, and then you just save your riff, and then we can open it up here. Which is really handy. I really like this tool. What's cool about it to me is sometimes I want to play my guitar, and I don't want to open up my DAW and deal with like all the other stuff that comes along with it, you know? I just want to open up a plugin and play my guitar real quick, and then occasionally, you know, you'll just be riffing out and you'll come up with a cool riff idea, and this lets you quickly record that without actually having to stop what you're doing, open up a new session, arm a track for recording, and through that time, you might actually like lose a part of the riff, at least for me, because I have horrible memory. But I just think it's a really cool feature that is included with these plugins, so there you go.